As the new Assistant Majority Floor Leader, you've taken on a number of additional responsibilities in the House. Would you please talk about your experience in your new role and how you've contributed to a more efficient legislative process?
Well, it's interesting that you would ask me that question today. We're at cutoff in the session, which means we've spent the majority of our time the last 2 weeks on the floor of the House. You know, the last 2 sessions I've been an active participant on the floor, but I haven't been in a leadership role. And it's really different. When you watch on TVW, it looks like everything is sort of just runs, just, you know, by the way of process. Sort of like, you know, when you have a board game and you have rules and everyone follows the rules. Well, it's sort of like that, but, you know, there is the occasional time when someone picks up the game board and throws all the pieces. And so you really have to work on your personal relationships with other legislators, your problem solving skills, and the ability to sort of get folks to a place where they can actually play the game by the rules so that we can get the work of the people done. The most important thing about the floor is making sure that you are moving bills efficiently so that you can do the will of the people as far as making our government efficient and making things work the way they need to. If someone, you know, has a temper tantrum, gets upset about something, it slows down the whole process. And there are certain things that we have to do. Sometimes it looks much more partisan than it is, but there are certain things that are very bipartisan that we need to get done in our legislation, and we have to do that efficiently. You know, we want to get out at 105 days. We don't want to stay a day longer and cost the taxpayers more money. So it's really important that we get along, you know, both sides of the House, the majority party and the opposition party. And so I've really felt like I've learned a lot about getting along with others and getting everyone to play well and to be able to be organized. Some of the skills of a mom are good skills for this, because you have to have people show up at the right time with the right speech and you know, with everything ready to go. So it's been a great experience. I've really enjoyed it.
The House recently passed your House Bill 1349, which reduces the risks of prematurely releasing mentally ill patients from treatment. Would you please tell us why you sponsored this legislation?
Yes, that's a very good question. You might recall that this year we've had several tragedies with mental health, where we've had folks who have not been on treatment actually complete some pretty horrible crimes, and it's been a lot in the news. And so we all pulled together, and you know, it's really important that we have a balance between public safety and respect and dignity for those who have mental illness and making sure they receive appropriate treatment. One of the things that we have in the mental health world is something called less restrictive alternatives. And when folks leave an involuntary commitment, say for instance they've been at Western State, when they leave that kind of treatment, oftentimes they're given a less restrictive alternative, which is sort of, I call it fondly, mental health probation. And in the less restrictive alternative, they have certain things that they have to comply to, or else it will be extended. Currently, there has to be very serious things, such as you get arrested for threatening someone, you end up back in the hospital, you know, pretty serious things that make you have your LRA extended. What we did was we changed the law, at least in the House so far. I hope it'll make it all the way to the Senate, so that if you don't comply with treatment, if you don't follow your LRA can be extended. And we didn't have that tool previously. We're hoping that if we do this and we extend LRAs instead of waiting till people really decompensate and have a horrible breakdown or perhaps a violent crime, that we'll be able to sort of pull them in, get a tune-up, and keep them in the less restrictive alternative, being treated in an outpatient setting. I think this will save dollars, and I think it really does keep the balance between public safety and treating the mentally ill with respect and dignity and getting the treatment they need.